The laughter around the table froze for a split second before erupting again, masking the sudden hollowness that spread through my chest. My wife, Claire, still smiling, raised her glass of champagne and said it again, louder this time. If I ever got divorced, I'd probably marry my ex. He was way more romantic. The crowd laughed with her. But I couldn't. Her words weren't just a joke. I knew that look, the flicker in her eyes, the faint smirk she tried to hide behind the rim of her glass. It was the same look she had when she was lying. The air in the room thickened with music and perfume and laughter, but everything inside me went quiet. I stared at her as she playfully leaned into her friend's shoulder, pretending it was harmless. My mind kept repeating her words, each echo sharper than the last. I forced a smile for the crowd. Guess I should start saving for that lawyer then. The room chuckled again, but my voice didn't sound like mine. The drive home was suffocating. Claire hummed softly beside me, scrolling through her phone, pretending nothing had happened. Streetlights washed over her face in rhythmic flashes, soft, golden, deceitful. You really didn't have to look so serious back there, she said casually, not looking up. It was a joke. A joke. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel. You called your ex romantic and said you'd marry him if we divorced. In front of everyone. She sighed, exaggerated and dismissive. Oh, come on, Liam. Don't be dramatic. Everyone jokes like that. It was harmless fun. Harmless. That word stung. Because lately, everything between us had been reduced to that. Harmless. Harmless dinners she didn't invite me to. Harmless messages from her old friends. Harmless late nights at the office. I didn't argue. I just drove, letting silence fill the car until it became unbearable. That night, I couldn't sleep. Claire slept soundly, her back turned to me. The faint glow of her phone lit the room every few minutes. I could hear her breathing, steady, innocent, cruelly peaceful. I reached for her phone. My hands trembled. I wasn't proud of it, but I needed to know. Needed to stop being the fool pretending everything was fine. The screen unlocked easily. No password changed this time. I scrolled through her messages. There he was. Ethan. Her ex. The name felt like poison on my tongue. Their chat was months old but alive. Messages every few days. Pictures. Memories. Miss you sometimes texts hidden between jokes. And then I found it. 3 days before the party. Ethan. You still think about me. Claire, sometimes. When Liam gets too serious. Ethan, maybe you just missed the fun we had. Claire, maybe. Maybe. That word was enough to break something inside me. Morning came too early. Claire made coffee like nothing was wrong. She hummed while buttering toast, wearing my shirt, smiling that smile I used to love. Big day today, she asked. Yeah, I said, watching her closely. Actually, I invited someone for dinner. Her eyebrows lifted. Oh? Who? Our lawyer. She froze mid-sip. Our, what? I figured we could start discussing that divorce you joked about. Her eyes widened. The mug slipped from her hands, shattering on the floor. Liam, it was a joke. You can't be serious. I stepped closer. You know what's funny, Claire? I didn't think jokes came with text messages to your ex. Her lips parted, panic flooding her face. You read my phone. I read the truth. The silence stretched, heavy and cold. I could see the war behind her eyes, guilt, fear, the desperate scramble for control. Then her voice softened. It didn't mean anything. We just talked. I missed the person I used to be with him. But I love you. The tears came easily, perfectly timed. Maybe they were even real. But I'd learned that love without respect was just manipulation dressed as emotion. Claire, I said quietly, if you wanted romance, you could have told me. But instead, you went looking for it in someone else's shadow. She stepped forward, reaching for my hand, but I stepped back. Don't do this, she whispered. We can fix it. I shook my head. You broke something that doesn't fix. It just stops. That evening, I sat alone at the dining table. 2 plates, one untouched. The lawyer never came. I hadn't actually called him. But the silence was necessary. Claire had packed a small bag and left after an hour of crying and pleading. She said she needed space to think. Maybe she did. Maybe she needed space to text him again. I stared at her empty seat. The air still smelled faintly of her perfume, lavender and regret. For years, I thought love was about forgiving the little things. The late nights, the jokes that cut too deep, the glances that lasted too long. But sometimes, love isn't forgiveness. It's letting the silence answer for you. I picked up my phone and finally called the lawyer. Not as a bluff this time. As a decision. A week later, I saw her again. She came to collect some of her things, dressed neatly, looking like she had rehearsed what to say. "You really went through with it," she said softly. "I did." She looked around the house, her eyes glistening. "I didn't mean for it to end like this." "Neither did I replied. "But you made sure it would." She nodded slowly, the weight of her choices finally showing. And as she walked out, I realized something. The pain wasn't anger anymore. It was release. Some betrayals don't explode. They dissolve quietly, leaving behind the echo of laughter that once felt harmless. And that echo is all that's left when the love dies.